Darrell, what would you say is the central theme of Luke's work as a whole, of Luke Acts? And could you give us some passages maybe to illustrate that theme?
Well, the central theme of Luke Acts is actually quite complex because it's a combination of Christology on the one hand and outreach and mission and evangelism on the other. So the idea, the central theme is that Jesus is the Lord of all, so the gospel can go to all. And that gospel includes, in the program of God, the inclusion of Gentiles and Jews into one body functioning together. And that entire story is important because in the history of the relationships between Jews and Gentiles, there were lots of attempts by Gentiles to wipe out Jewish identity and wipe out Jewish presence. So the idea that they could be reconciled is really controversial, at least in the first century. And the fact that Jesus does this shows the way in which he brings that which is estranged together into a unit, not just connecting them to God, each individually, but to one another in a larger corporate way. All of this is part of the major theme of Luke Acts. And there are passages on top of one another that make this point. I mean, the very way in which Peter goes to Cornelius and the way that's told in Acts shows the importance of that outreach. The fact that that story is told multiple times. The fact that Paul's calling, the appearance on the Damascus Road, is told multiple times, and he ends up being, in effect, the apostle to the Gentiles. So everything about this is making the point that the gospel is going out to all people and that Gentiles and Jews belong together, and the way that peace is going to come is through Jesus Christ and what he does in this new community.